My first show was the Troubadour on a Wednesday night, opening for Hans Nadi. My band was called Dream Suite, and I think I was 14 and a half, and we played our band Dream Suite. It was with Joey from Funhouse was one of the guitar players, and Skip Whiting and Stuart Waldman and Robbie Gardner, and yeah, man, we were just a terrible band, you know what I mean? And believe it or not, our first show, I was working for Poison at the time. Our first show, Wednesday night, we sold tickets for all of our friends. So there was, our 50 tickets that we had to sell for Mike, the promoter of the Troubadour, and Gina, and working for Poison, the Poison guys, I was like, yeah, I'm playing on Wednesday if you guys want to come, and they were like, yeah, we'll come down. They were pretty big at the time. They were selling out, 3 nights at the Troubadour, a weekend at the Country Club, and they came down. I'll never forget it. It was a Wednesday night. Everyone's lined up outside to go in, and the 4 of them came walking down the street, and they were here to support me, and I thought that was pretty cool. And they literally went up on our equipment and played Talk Dirty to me, and just before their record deal, and introduced our band. And so it was a pretty big thing for me as a 15 or 14 and a half year old kid, 15-year-old kid, to have your buddies come down and go up and do that. So yeah, that was my first gig, the Troubadour. But like, I was going to clubs when I was like 11, 12. We had a neighbor that worked at the Starwood, and he would sneak us in the back door, and I saw Snow, I saw Motley Crue, I saw a lot of bands, there, London, yeah. At that age, I don't think it really grasped. Again, when you're in the fishbowl, you can't really look at it from afar. So it was always just kind of a given that I'm going to play the Troubadour, or I'll play the Roxy, or I'll play the Kazari's, or I'll play the Whiskey, or the Central at the time, which is now the Viper Room, or I never played the Starwood because it closed down before I was really gigging. But no, I mean the Roxy, all of those gigs were prestigious. The Country Club, Waters Club. I played all of those clubs when I was a kid, and so no, I mean probably the Troubadour, but I played it was my first gig, so I guess it checked it right off the list. We would go see. I mean, we saw every band. Again, growing up in Hollywood, not that our parents didn't care, but they didn't care, and we were out every night. I mean, I'm talking 11, 12, 13. We were too young to get into venues. We'd just walk right up to the door. The door guy would just shake his head and just like kind of wave us in, and we'd be like, "What up?" And we saw so many bands. The best thing about venues in LA is they're all centralized. They're pretty close to each other. So when they talk about the Strip, it's quite literally like a half-mile section, and just south of that on Santa Monica is the Troubadour. And so those cool venues, let's just say starting from Crescent Heights, which was what was the one on the corner of Crescent Heights? Damn, I keep forgetting. The Zeros used to always play there. The Coconut Teaser. The Coconut Teaser all the way down to, Gil Turner's at Doheny on the Sunset Strip. I mean, everything was in a mile of itself, and you could walk it, and as to where most other cities, even in New York City, you have to, you take a cab, or you have to go uptown or midtown, or, to a borough to go see your favorite band, L'Amour's or wherever it was. In LA, it was all in one thing, except for the Country Club, which you would have to go to the Valley. But who wanted to go to the Valley back in those days? I did, because I wanted to go to the Country Club and see, I would see Wasp or Rat or, whoever play at the Country Club. But most people didn't want to leave the city to go to the Valley because we don't like the valleys. I think those days, so did you ever see, I'm sure people saw the Decline of Western Civilization, Part 2, the Metal Years. I saw that too. And so I guess you could say my tenure on the Strip was 78 to like 87, I guess you would say. As with any situation, anything that's cool, there's a lot of copycats and a lot of people that come in later that are like the third and fourth and fifth generations of something that was really a movement at one time. So I thought that movie was kind of like a snapshot of like that fourth or fifth generation of that movement, and they were all a bunch of irrelevant people, and no dig on any of them, like not Chris Holmes or anybody, because I thought Chris Holmes was a badass. But I thought a lot of the other bands, the Gabe Reeds and all those idiots that were in that thing, I was just it made me kind of shake my head and go, this isn't the Hollywood that I grew up on. This isn't the Strip when it was young and innocent, and people actually had real proper dreams and were working hard and were really trying to be, I went to school with Tracy Guns and guys like that, and you would see guys like that. You just knew those guys were going to do something. And sure enough, when they did, they were just driven to do it. These other guys were trying to live off chicks, and, they thought that their image was all show and no go. You know what I mean? There was no content to what they were doing, and it was crap. And that's why they never became anything, a lot of those people in that. So, yeah. So what do I miss about it? I miss the earlier part of it, like the real part of it, you know what I mean, where you would see real people who actually, achieved later. You would see Axl Rose on the street corner passing out flyers, and later, he got what he deserved because he deserved it.